So there are some really significant benefits of employment and of the fellowship here at the Austen Riggs Center, and some of which, if I forget, I trust you'll pitch in. But some that often aren't recognized, but that are worth noting. One is, of course, our provision of a stipend for the psychoanalysis of the fellows, the training analysis, which ends up being often one of the most significant barriers to people going into psychoanalytic training, is the enormous cost. And so for us, it's a matter of equity, actually, to try to support people in their learning who would be outstanding candidates as analysts, but otherwise couldn't afford the training. So financial support for the analysis. We also, as a nonprofit organization, qualify for loan repayment for physicians who have student loans, and there are also some benefits for psychologists, even within Massachusetts, that have been recent, which have been wonderful. So it's an opportunity for those who have accrued the burden of significant student debt to try to remediate some of that. We also have financial support through the Erickson Institute and through the training program itself for ongoing learning, which is really remarkable. Our fellows consistently are attending national conferences, both through the American Psychoanalytic or Division 39 if they're psychologists, or the American Psychiatric and other psychiatry-specific conferences, both to attend and learn, but also to present and to participate as discussants. And so that's part of our tradition here, and part of what we encourage is not just to be solid analytic clinicians, but also scholarly and involved in the field outside of here as representatives of what they've learned in the fellowship. So we provide for fellows $3,000 annually through the Erickson Institute for ongoing education and training that can be applied to conferences and other events, and an additional $1,000 through the training director's budget for learning and other opportunities as well. So for many people who are just starting in training and aren't making much money, again, it's a burden to be able to travel and to go to conferences and present. And yes, it's such an important part of professional development and being present in the community outside of the work that we do here at Riggs. So we support that financially, and we also support it relationally by encouraging it and mentoring and fostering that sort of growth. The fellowship is also a place where, as much as you're engaged in very rigorous learning, there is a lot of autonomy to shape your schedule in collaboration with your patients. Outside of the sort of daily work and meetings we're expected to do, fellows can shape their time and their engagements as they'd like. And so it can be kind of jarring, I think, for people who come from very oppressive systems that expect you to be here or there doing this or that all the time. There's a sort of freedom to learn and to be, which is very nice. We do have health insurance and benefits for our fellows as employees of the staff here at Austen Riggs, which is, in my experience, very good and comprehensive and useful insurance, especially for those who are coming here with the burden of a family that needs to acclimate to a new environment in the Berkshires. And I guess I would say, to me at least, one of the perks of being here is being in the Berkshires, which is a lovely place that is, although quite rural, culturally rich, and also conveniently kind of located not too far from New York City, not too far from Boston. And so it's easy enough to be in a large city if that's desired. But I'm sure I'm missing some of the other perks that might be on your mind.
Well, yeah, I guess I would say for starters, maybe one of the biggest ones is you get paid to become a psychoanalyst, which is very unique. Generous with vacation time, so there's 5 weeks paid vacation. There is generous with things like parental leave. Mm-hmm. So a system is very generous with in those ways. And I would also say, I think there's a recognition that a 4 years of training, for some people who could just go out and hang up a shingle, does represent some opportunity cost. One of the ways that Riggs deals with that is they rent you your office for a very minimal fee and make it easy for people to develop a private practice once they're licensed. And so it certainly makes it easier to appreciate the Berkshires when you have extra sources of income. But even there, as fellowships go, it is generally well compensated.